roadways, which have all been opened to at least single-lane access. The parish of St. Mary was by far the most affected, having sustained over $500 million in damage. Clarendon, St. Anne, Portland, Trelawney and St. Andrew follow. According to the Transport Minister, the overall cost associated with the recent rains is expected to increase since more damage has been caused by heavy showers just last week. He says the ministry will now have to be highly creative in its efforts to respond to the immediate emergency needs and still maintain some level of routine maintenance. The minister says he is not daunted by what amounts to a very tall order. The Department of Correctional Services is vigorously pursuing alternatives to incarceration this year. That was announced by Major Richard Rees, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security. He was delivering a message from Security Minister Senator Dwight Nelson at the DCS Thanksgiving and Commitment Service yesterday. The aim is to reduce the number of persons committed to juvenile and adult correctional facilities across the island. There are 5 main strategies being considered.
These are hostel placement in support of re-entry, the probation order, which allows the offender to do community-based rehabilitation, the community service order, which offenders are given 40 hours to do community services, the suspended service order, and the voluntary supervision order.
In the meantime, he says the department will continue efforts to establish special rehabilitation projects, computerize its data sources, and review health personnel and policies. And those were the stories making today's news. For more information, please visit our website at www.jis.gov.jm. Stay with us. Jamaica Magazine continues.
An earthquake can occur at any time, even while you're at work. If an earthquake occurs while you're at work, get under a table or stand in a doorway, holding on firmly to the door frame or curl up against an inside wall. Once the shaking has stopped, leave your office briskly but orderly and assemble in an open area away from trees, power lines, or tall buildings. Do a head count by department to ensure that all workers are accounted for and check for injuries. Persons should not re-enter the building until they are informed that it is safe to do so by the authorities.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Thanks for staying with us. We now continue our review of the year 2009 with a look back at major developments in the Ministry of Education.
The Ministry of Education in 2009 juggled its international commitment to delivering quality education locally with several homebred challenges, including indiscipline in schools, budget restrictions, space shortages, and improving student assessment and performance. This is a look back at the achievements of the Education Ministry in 2009.
Prime Minister Bruce Golding says the process of transforming the education system has to expand access while ensuring quality education.
It is still something that I think we can retrieve. I think it's something that we have to retrieve.
So when we talk about transformation, we're talking about changing the way in which we view education.
What the ministry is saying is that by 2015, we are to have universal literacy.
Literacy is now the critical benchmark for transitioning from primary to the secondary level.
If your child did not develop the basic cognitive skills from grade 4, it's a loss.
The grade 4 exam was, for the first time this year, was nationally in
10 years since the GSAT. It was really timely for the ministry to review
all except 204 of the students who sat the Grade 9 Achievement Test GNAT this year were placed in public and private high schools.
Should be ready to access secondary level education.
Access, equity, efficiency, quality. Foremost targets on the Ministry of Education's To Achieve list at the start of 2009. Solid foundation was laid, considerable ground covered, but for the most part, Ministry officials concede the work continues into 2010. Several areas of the education sector were under major review or reform last year as part of the ministry's ambitious 5-year plan to identify, overhaul, and transform deficiencies throughout the system.
To try and see, how can we retrofit the system? How can we go back to see where we have sort of lost the quality control and lost the interventions that are necessary.
The United Nations mandates 100% literacy by 2015. Jamaica ended 2009 29 points below that. Education officials are confident that with the efforts made last year, upgrading the remaining 1/3 of the primary school population in 5 years is attainable. Education is the way forward, and the government is pushing ahead with its goal of 100% literacy for Jamaica.
No child should sit the GSAT without being certified literate.
This shift is being made with the Grade 4 Achievement Test in particular.
Read for fun, read for recreation, as well as to read for knowledge.
The Ministry of Education, on its drive to achieve 100% literacy and numeracy at the primary level, is to spend close to $500 million on literacy and numeracy specialists this financial year.
Last year, the cadre of specialist teachers assigned to primary and junior high schools went up to 150 from 95. The ministry, too, took over sole control of invigilating the Grade 4 Achievement Test.
Once the exams are published, invariably there will be comparisons. You will see yourselves against everybody else, and so that helps to drive the kind of interest in getting children to read.
The results on the first sitting was approximately 45% achieving mastery. At the last sitting of the test, which was in last year, April, we now have 81% of students achieving mastery on their first sitting.
Over 88% of our students who have gained mastery in that area, and I think that's a good thing because more students are striving towards mastery.
No child should sit the GSAT without being certified literate.
The Grade 6 Achievement Test GSAT placement method came under review in 2009.
The review of the Grade 6 Achievement Test came about because of a number of queries, complaints, concerns.
The truth of the matter is, if we look at what is happening at the secondary level in terms of placement, you'll find that students who are supposed to perform better will opt for particular schools, etc.
Invariably, the brighter students end up getting their place of choice.
We're going to develop a framework to guide the School Improvement Act. That School Improvement Act will really address the issue of placement and trying to find quality.
When finalized, the School Improvement Act should put an end to the differentiation which marks the secondary school system and see the development of a uniformed group of schools of excellence. But even as the Education Ministry worked on fine-tuning the Grade 7 placement system, it produced its largest batch of matriculates in its 10-year history.
85% of the students who actually sat the examination were placed in the school of their choice.
Hi, my name is Rashid Lee and I've successfully passed my GSAT exams.
And I'll be going to Campion College. I think the 2009 GSAT examinations were manageable.
Some 47,800 candidates were placed in secondary schools through the 2009 GSAT examinations, but not all could be readily accommodated.
We have approximately 80% access at secondary level.
The government is on a drive to build an education infrastructure that is capable of accommodating all students comfortably.
The development facilitated 11 new classrooms, 2 computer labs, 1 agricultural and environmental lab. The general policy of the government is that we should have enough schools within the island so that we can reduce the travel time of our students.